Ladies and gentlemen, here's Lady of Rage and Snoop Dogg performing Afro Buffs.
Get up out your seats. Get up, bro. Get up, dog. Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on. Y'all know this song. Y'all know what time it is. So smooth. Real smooth, like, come on.
I rock this stuff with my Afro puffs.
Rock on with your band, say it.
What up guys, Ali here, and welcome to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure to add me on IG at Ali Talks Music, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. In the 90s, Dr. Dre was laying the foundation for his illustrious career, producing many hit records and working with some of the most respected artists in the game. It goes without saying that Dr. Dre has always kept his ear to the streets, and is partly responsible for the rise of many MCs. One of the lesser known acts that he brought into the game is an artist from Virginia known as Lady of Rage. Lady of Rage has always aspired to be a rapper. The former death row artist started taking rap seriously around 6th grade, and by her senior year, she named herself Lady of Rage after a classmate mockingly referred to her with said name. She fell in love with the name and began scribbling her name on bathroom doors. As a rapper on the rise, Lady of Rage set herself apart from the girls by being more lyrical. She aspired to blend in with the men and wanted her lyrics to speak for itself. They did just that. While she was on the come up, Salt-N-Pepa and Roxanne were doing their thing. However, instead of taking inspiration from other female artists, she wanted to rap on the same level as Rakim. Before I even heard of MC Lyte, it was Salt-N-Pepa and Roxanne Shante. And I just felt that I was so lyrical that I'm not even competing with y'all. You're no threat to me at all. My competition is with the guys. So I didn't look to girls for inspiration or influence or nothing like that. Rakim was the one that was blowing my mind. And I was like, if I wanna be like somebody, if I wanna mold after a MC, Rakim would be the one. When Rage was 20 years old, she met Shakim of the original Outlaw Brothers, who were a rap group from Queens. Shakim convinced her that she could make it big in the rap game. He told her that she was one of the best female rappers at the time and eventually got her to join his group. Lady of Rage was taken in as a member of the original Outlaw Brothers, after which the group was signed by LA Posse. MC Breeze, The Real Roxanne, and others were also being produced by LA Posse and worked diligently, writing and recording songs out of Posse's small studio in Lower Manhattan called Chongqing Studio. In the early 90s, Rage provided vocals for Chubb Rock under the name Rockin' Robin for the track Bring Him Home Safe on his The One album.
You know I was with Chubbs, and before that I was with Eric B. Before that I was with LA Posse. They produced LL's first, second album, I think it was. And me and Nikki D was tight. Me and her was rhyming, performing together and stuff like that. So yeah, I did my grind out here for a long time.
Lady of Rage was discovered by Dr. Dre through LA Posse, who let him listen to her track and the vocals she recorded on his 1991 album, They Come in All Colors. At the time, Dr. Dre was forming Death Row Records with Suge Knight and was ready to sign her up as part of his record label. One day she got a call from Dr. Dre, who then asked her to join his label. Initially, Rage didn't believe what was happening. "How do I know you're Dr. Dre?" she said. And in response to her question, Dr. Dre sent her a plane ticket and told her only one way to find out. At this point in her career, Rage looked like she was going places. However, becoming a part of Death Row Records was the beginning and end of her career, as she took the high road and dove right into the male-dominated industry, hoping to make a name for herself among the guys. This is probably where Rage got it wrong in the breakthrough of her career. Lady of Rage's first major appearance was on Dr. Dre's The Chronic, which came out in the early 90s and went triple platinum. Rage co-wrote and performed on a few of the tracks. After The Chronic came out, the Lady of Rage was starting to receive a lot of attention. Her buzz was significant, and the only thing that she needed was for her album to come out. Unfortunately, she faced a lot of obstacles in her career, forcing her out of the spotlight with time. So the question is, what happened to Lady of Rage? Right after The Chronic was released, her first album, Eargasm, was supposed to come out, but it had to be put on hold because Snoop Dogg attained a lot of publicity and anticipation, so his album had to come out first before hers. Snoop Dogg's album, Doggy Style, was released in the early 90s and was the most anticipated album at the time. Yet a lot of people expected Rage's album to drop first. She was supposed to drop her album next. At least, that's what she thought. After The Chronic, it was gonna be Snoop. So the next album in line, whose album was going to be released, would be the first artist on the current album. This was the album set up for me. I was very pleased and excited. It was one of the biggest highlights of the album to me. Now after Snoop's album dropped, Rage's album kept being pushed back. Snoop was a huge hit, he was bringing in the numbers already, so he was already a bankable artist, unlike Rage. However, her album was slated to be released next. When she got signed, she was told that her album would be released after Dr. Dre's album, but that's not how it went. Lady of Rage thinks her gender might have played a role in this decision. In her own words, so they was like, Snoop's album is gonna be next, and your album is gonna be after his. It just kept getting pushed back, and I don't know what the reasoning was behind that, but that's how it was. I don't know if it was a female thing, ego thing, or what, but it just didn't happen when it should have happened.
So being one of the first ladies of hip hop, what were some of the challenges you faced being in a male-dominant world?
Well, initially, I didn't look at it as challenging because I felt like it's no competition. I looked at the guys like I'm just that confident in myself. Like,
right on.
Y'all don't deter me. Y'all are not a threat at all. Now, once I got in the business of it, it became challenging as like the way you are perceived, the way they want you to look, the way they want you to come across. Me being a big girl, I was told you need to lose weight.
Eargasm never made it out as it should have, but as things happened, she stumbled upon the soundtrack to the movie Above the Rim with her song Afro Puffs in the early 90s. Initially, Lady of Rage wasn't really feeling the song. She did not think she was staying true to her sound and didn't want it to ever come out. While she was in the studio, she was working with Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre came up to her with a beat and was like, "You got something for that, Rage? Let me hear it." After hearing the beat, she spit a rhyme that she had been working on some days ago. She wasn't really feeling the rhyme, but Dr. Dre thought it was a masterpiece, and so did everyone else. Rage didn't like the song so much that she told Suge Knight not to put it on the Above the Rim soundtrack, and he agreed not to. Luckily, this wasn't the case. The soundtrack came out with her song on it. Now, when Lady of Rage found out that the song wasn't taken off the soundtrack, she was certain that that would be the end of her career. She thought people wouldn't like the song and felt like it wasn't true to who she was. Luckily, the song was a hit when it came out and changed her original opinion. My style was more East Coast. I'm from Virginia, and Afro Puffs was this G-Funk sound. Now, at this point in time, she still had hope that her album would come out. However, that hope quickly died the moment Tupac Shakur was signed to Death Row Records. Regardless of the success she found with Afro Puffs, they still released the Dogg Pound's album, Dog Food, before hers, and that was the last word of her album. I don't know if there was some male chauvinistic ways in it, because all the females there, it seems like they got pushed back. Now, from the sounds of things, Lady of Rage didn't have the same level of buzz as the other artists on Death Row. Also, Death Row didn't know how to market a female at the time. As if her album problems weren't enough, she also had minor issues with Tupac. In fact, he once referred to her as the weakest link in Death Row Records. The reason for that being, the Lady of Rage had Bad Boys back at the Source Awards, and Tupac didn't like that. After that, he called her the weakest link because she didn't do what the rest of the team was doing.
It was a little more friction to me, because Pac was adamant about his beliefs and adamant about who things he felt and who he felt did wronged him and things of that nature. I don't know if everybody felt that way. Well, I'm gonna speak for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but I didn't share those same thoughts. So he definitely was riled up about some people and wanted everybody to be riled up with him.
She took a lot of jabs from the guys, but she couldn't let that one go. She stated that she asked him why he thought she was the weakest link, and he said something like, it was because he was the only one standing up for them niggas at the Source Awards. Her response to him was, I don't think that makes me weak. I think that makes me very strong. I think that makes me the strong link. She also stated that although Pac has a strong work ethic, it's easy to bump heads with him. You couldn't really know Pac without eventually bumping heads with him. Now, Lady of Rage also mentioned a time where she and Pac had a disagreement because she refused to be a part of the East-West Coast beef by making a beef track against Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. After the death of Tupac, Pac, her inspiration for making music began to fade. She thought the Big and Pac beef went too far, violence was becoming a part of her job, and didn't want to become another casualty of war. For a while, she didn't want anything to do with music. However, DMX's album inspired her to take another crack at it. Basically, I was through it. After Tupac died and Biggie got killed, it took the love away from me. It seemed like it was turning to something ugly. I didn't want to be on stage performing with someone, and because you have beef with this guy, I'm performing with you taking aim at him, and I'm skipping along singing. And I get killed because of somebody else's animosity for who I'm with. I didn't like that. DMX's album is what made me want to get back in this. Now, the Lady of Rage didn't get her album release until the late 90s. However, at this time, Death Row Records was already in the process of crumbling. Although she released an album called Necessary Roughness, her previous work, Eargasm, never saw the light of day. It was a difficult time. In the late 90s, Dr. Dre left Death Row Records, Pac was assassinated, Suge was in jail, and Snoop had left the label. Evidently, she lacked the ability to hold down her production. The album peaked at number 32 on the Billboard 200 and didn't do well sales-wise. Even though the album still made it to Billboard Top 50, she lacked the support of the system that brought her into the label in the first place. More specifically, the project didn't have Dr. Dre's guidance. In an interview, she once said that Eargasm was Dre's whole project. He came up with the title and everything. He had the concept and his vision of that. Once he left, all that left with him. When the label was ready to put her music out there, the entire support system that came together to move the Chronic, Doggy Style, and Dog Food were all gone. It was only her. And as she stated, she had confidence in her lyrics, but she lacked confidence in her ability to format. She depended too much on people, and that's part of the reason she got held back. After the release of her album, she stayed with the label for a while and had a guest appearance on Corrupt's Gang Starr. However, around 1998, she left the label and industry as a whole for a while. And this time, Rage focused her energy on acting. She featured in The Steve Harvey Show as Coretta Cox in the late 90s. She also made an appearance on Kenan and Kel in one single episode, and she later had a role in Next Friday as Baby D.
We checked you out on Next Friday, and you doing your thing acting. Is there anything else in the works as far as acting?
Well, I did the sequel to The Cookout. I did The Cookout Part 2, and I don't know when that's slated to be released, but that was the last thing I did. That was in October of last year, and I'm still pursuing that full force. So okay. Acting is my thing. People don't know that I started out acting before I was rapping. Acting is my first love. Rapping is just something that I could do.
After a while, it was time for Lady of Rage to get back into music. She began making appearances in the music industry again around 2000 when she appeared on a number of Snoop songs on his album The Last Meal. Around 2005, she got signed into Shantae Brodus' label, Boss Lady Entertainment, where she released a street album called VA to LA, and later made an appearance on Big Snoop Dogg Presents Welcome to the Church, the album, and Kelly is Active. Around 2008, the Lady of Rage got inducted into a female group called FEM, which stands for Females Earning Money. The group's other members included Babs, Lady Luck, and Emil. All of the members, minus Emil, released a mixtape called Set It Off, Femme Edition.
Yeah, it's the new outside movement. The building. That's right, we in Harlem right now, doing it big. Femme is the movement. You see who it is. Rage right here, Babs right there. Yep. Yeah, Babs right here, Luck right here. Lady Luck in the middle.
What's this? What's going on? What's happening here? Why y'all together?
Movement going on. Ed Lover, Unique, spearheading the whole thing. It's called Femme, Females Earning Money. It's an all-female movement. Real chicks that do real things. That's what's going on right here.
Lady of Rage is a member of the group Inmates, alongside Corrupt, RBX, and Daz Dillinger. Lady of Rage has been pretty quiet musically. However, another notable guest appearance she had was on MC8's Hot Cold.
Original, seminal, MC, criminal, literal, lyrical, pinnacle of women who rap.
Lately, it seems like music isn't Rage's main focus, as she's a mother now and spends a lot of her time raising her kids. In much recent times, it became public knowledge that the rapper, singer, and actress had been hospitalized for a while, bringing her career to a pause as she was diagnosed with Sjogren syndrome. In essence, Lady of Rage tried her best to keep up with the male-dominated hip-hop industry of the 90s. However, in this case, her best was not enough. Also, she didn't get a chance to shine because Snoop Dogg's album came out before hers. Before COVID, Lady of Rage was still actively performing. She still does interviews. She also appears to still still be acting and made an appearance in Shaka King's Judas and the Black Messiah movie. Lady of Rage gets about 150,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and her most popular songs on the platform are For All My Niggas and Bitches, Afro Puffs, and My Money.
Rough and stuff with my Afro puffs. Yeah, I rocks rough and stuff with my Afro puffs.
That's it for me, man. It's your boy Ali. What happened to Lady of Rage in your opinion? Let me know down below. If you have a video request, let me know down below as well. Or send me a message on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. What happened to video dropping next week? Till next time, peace.